Namaste, friends. It's Tuesday. I think it's November 29th, 2022. Checking in after a crazy week of Thanksgiving, a vacation. And here I am today. Yes, I know I look even more exhausted than usual. I did not sleep well last night. And I ended up the day after Thanksgiving, about by lunchtime, I started running a fever and spent the last 2 days of the week of my vacation in bed, trying to stay warm and sleeping. So from Friday afternoon until Monday morning, basically, I put myself to bed. But I will say, I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, my favorite time of year, my favorite everything. And the reason is, it's all about family and food, and being together and being grateful, and all of those things. It's just wonderful. And this year was just really awesome. I did a semi-formal sit-down dinner for 20. And of course, I was not in my new house. I had to do it in the rental. And it was insane. And thankfully my oldest daughter, she was such a huge help this year. She really helped me get things put together in such a small space. We really did it this year. We exchanged the dining room and living room furniture, set up, I have 2 dining tables and a child's table. I wanted us all to be together in the same room. I didn't want anybody to feel like they were off on the side in a different area. I think it's important to have that sit-down dinner for everybody to just enjoy eating and sharing together. And this year, for the first time, my youngest son, his girlfriend, her father and stepmother and stepbrother joined us. So I know it was a big deal for my youngest son. This was the first opportunity he had to bring her parents into our family, our big family. And I knew it was so important to him and to her. And that's another reason why I wanted to make sure we were all together and no one felt segregated by being at a table, off on the side. And Thanksgiving was a huge success this year. It was wonderful. The food was wonderful and plentiful, and just everything went well. The weather went well. It was everything I could ask for. And so today, I think I woke up with, a little post-holiday depression. I love Christmas and the Christmas season, but, Thanksgiving is what I live for. And I don't like the pressure of the consumerism and things like that with Christmas. And, for being a devout Catholic for a long time, I do find the Christmas season to be quite beautiful and peaceful, but there's no denying the commercialism that has taken over and the consumerism. Oh, hello, doe. Let's see. Oh. I don't know if you can see the doe. I see deer here all the time. It's a beautiful doe. She's already getting her winter coat on. But yeah, the older I get, the less tolerant I become of consumerism. And Christmas is kind of a struggle for me. My grandchild, hi there. Hi, pretty. I won't disturb you. I just wanted to say hi. I hope you saw her. She's beautiful. And she's still back there just doing her thing. Yeah, she's used to seeing us walk by. But, my grandchildren, they're young and they love getting gifts. And I love giving gifts. And I want to give gifts to everyone. But I think I find there's so much, the more you give, the more people have, the less they appreciate. And I find this particularly with young kids. The more toys they have, the less they appreciate the ones they do have. And I have found this whole culture, the fidget culture and all of this, there's this huge, these kids are collecting these fidgets and trading them, which is all fine and good, but my gosh, they add up. There's so much stuff. Oh, gosh, this is a conversation. Consumerism and Christmas is a conversation for another time. But suffice to say, I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I took that week off, the days off before Thanksgiving to prepare, and I loved every minute of it. Every minute I got to be around my grandchildren, and I got to do all of the wonderful things I love to do. And Thanksgiving was wonderful. And I ended up sick because my my older grandkids had been sick before Thanksgiving. And of course, because of the way things are, my daughter had taken them to the doctor and they did get COVID tested, and they were fine. No COVID, no problems. And of course, they just got sniffles because they're kids in school. Okay. And of course, both my daughter and I ended up getting sick the day after Thanksgiving, but thankfully no one else did. I've checked in with everybody. Everybody else is fine. And I think part of it is just, I do wear myself down. I have to think about, in this third stage, I think about my grandmother, my father's grandmother. And she was a small woman. And she had blue hair. I always remember her with blue hair and a very thick southern drawl. God, I just thinking about her. And I remember my father and I, my grandmother moved back down to Roanoke by herself after her husband passed, my grandfather, because her family was down there. She moved to Richmond, with her husband. He worked for the government. He worked for the Virginia State Highway Department, and they moved to Richmond. And my father, as a child, left Roanoke and moved to Richmond, and that's what brought him up here. But she moved back down there to be with her sisters and, family. And we went down, my dad and I went down to visit her. It was when I was a teenager. And we had all these people, cousins and everybody in her house. We were getting ready to go to a 60th wedding anniversary for one of her siblings. And she spent her whole morning with her hair in curlers. And I'll never forget, there's one bathroom, and she went in to turn the bath water on, and apparently the diverter was set so that the shower came on. So when she went to turn on the water, her head got wet from the shower. And of course, if you've had your hair set in curlers all day, getting your hair wet just ruins it. And as a teenager, I would have been devastated. And I'll never forget watching her. She's like, oh, well, that's okay. We got to get ready to go. And I never forgot that about her. And I always thought, oh, wow, I can't wait till I get older and I can just be so calm and things just roll off of me. And here I am as I get older, and I still let things bother me. Maybe not as trivial as getting my hair wet, but I have to admit I'm struggling with some things. I did not sleep well, and I've been sick, so I woke up in quite a mood today, and just this morning had a little meltdown. Things bothering me. And one of the things, but on a side note, I do have to say, excuse me, after years of being married to my ex-husband, whom I do love. My ex-husband, he's father of my amazing children, and I did love him, and we did have, and I don't want to be horrible, but he was also very intolerant of moods of any kind. I remember it was very hard when I was pregnant. I'd get moody. Something goes wrong, I get upset. Anytime that I got upset, it would make him angry. He would be angry at me for being upset, even if it was justifiable upset, you know. And the other thing I remember is he would get angry at me for being sick. He had very little tolerance for it. And I know now, I think part of that was fear. When I got sick, he got fearful. And I understand that. But of course, immaturity and a lot of issues that we dealt with, you know, that fear he felt was expressed as anger. So, you know, I'm at this point in my life where often I think when I get upset or I get sick, I'm afraid of someone being angry at me for it. And so it was a relief that my current husband was not angry at me for being sick. He was not angry at me this morning for being out of sorts, and I was a jerk. I was a jerk this morning. I'm walking around near tears, just feeling bad and feeling frustrated, and I think to myself, why am I at this stage of my life still struggling with these emotions, in the sense that sometimes I have a very hard time keeping it rational. So I guess that's my thought for today. Sometimes we have bad days. We can't always be these calm, zen masters of how we feel and self-awareness, and we can strive, but we have to have compassion for ourselves when we don't achieve. So that's where I am today. Just feeling, I don't know, a little down. Loved Thanksgiving so much, made my heart just swell with joy. And I know I have so much to look forward to. And I'm so grateful. And I'm ashamed of myself for being so icky today. Again, sorry, still dealing with a little bit of this. But that's really all I had to say. Just have compassion with yourself. Holidays are hard. They're tiring. We have a lot of expectations. We can't always be the Zen master of mindfulness that we want to be, the calm, soothing goddesses that we like to think of ourselves as. But I do feel better now that I've kind of put that out in the open and I've accepted that. So thank you for listening. I'm freezing. I'm going to put this away now. And I'm looking forward to checking in again soon. Peace.